Welcome, guys. Here we are. I'm in my Matrix Battlegrounds tournament against KT1. Initially, I was streaming from my end, but when I checked on my stream and I looked on YouTube, my whole screen was black, and I wasn't sure what happened. Let me charge this in the meantime. Oh yeah, my whole screen was black, so in the middle of the stream, I was like, okay, let me just start screen recording from my end. So here are my round 1 fights. At this point, I don't remember whatever we did for round 1, but yeah, I did not win. As you can see, match 1 of round 1, I didn't win. So here we are now, match 2 of round 1. We're in the GC meta, so defenders go unstoppable, unblockable when they gain fury. So my plan here is don't parry Crossbones, don't inflict any, debuffs, and that's why I chose Serpent. Plan here is to get him the special 1. If you punish the special, you get a grit passive, which allows you to ignore unstoppable. And after that, it's kind of a textbook fight. We don't have to worry about the unstoppable anymore. We can just go in. I'm going to spam SP2 here just for the extra burst damage. We do try to get the first hit to break his block. That way we deal even more damage. SP1s may have been the way to go, but at this point I'm like, hey, things are rolling smoothly. We're getting our 2 bars, so we'll just keep throwing SP2 into his block. The damage here, I'm sure of what the damage output of it will be like. Whereas the SP1, I'm kind of unsure. Usually SP1s I do like against Fat Man, but here we go. We're near full health. We took some hits on the block in the beginning, but that worked out. I had my rank 4 Iceman on defense. What I was hoping would be, Sassy's not getting crits on the SP2, or if he's going for the SP2, the ice armor reactivates at that point, so capping the damage at 5%. So kind of playing on RNG to be in my favor, because I know Sassy takes like 90% reduced cold snap damage, and this was me just ending the stream from my end. Pay no attention to that. That is not financial advice. So I ended my stream because, like I said, it was black off my point of view, and this is me in the middle of the match trying to get out of the stream back into the tournament match, and luckily everything worked out okay. Okay, so looking at Serpent potentially, plans are if he throws Serpent, I use Purgatory. Anybody else, I would use Deathless, She-Hulk. So we'll throw Shocker on defense. I'm running Max Limber, so if he does try to parry, he has to react immediately. Any slight hesitation, any lag will work in my favor. It's also kind of hard to punish Shocker's SP1 unless you're very close. And I am running block pinning, so that can be harmful. Here, I'm actually glad Serpent started with a heavy. Otherwise, I would have parried and just started attacking, forgetting he does start with a fury, so he's unstoppable. The plan here in the beginning is just to bait out special 1. We get the debuff placed on us. This gives us willpower healing, and every bar power that I gain, Purgatory inflicts a 10% neutralize. Right now, under the red icon under Serpent's at a 4, so we have a 40% chance to prevent his buffs from activating. And after here is just bait SP1s and fire SP2. As long as I punish his SP1s, then we get the grit passive, and so we ignore the unstoppable. Here we weren't able to prevent the true focus from activating, so we had to take that on the block. But that's okay. So the plan here, we bait an SP1, get the debuff for some willpower healing. We punish it, so now we can ignore the unstoppable with the grit. Fire the SP2. And here, I'm trying to bait an SP1. I'm like, okay, good to go. And I should have went through baiting again because now he's full power. Unfortunately, I'm not able to throw a striker as soon as that special is over. He dodged back, so it's like the whole fight just went from going extremely well to out of control. And typical AI fashion, 3 bars of power, which means I eat the SP3. And at this point, I'm telling myself, you screwed up. You costed yourself round 1. But hey, the match isn't over until it's over. And at that point, it's over. But lo and behold, we actually managed to pull that one off. So shout out to Shocker for doing whatever he did. I'll have to check it out from his point of view. So all I can say is I'm very happy. At this point, I'm like, okay, I took round 1. That takes some pressure. I'm still confident in any Purgatory versus Serpent matchups going forward. Even though that went sideways. Also, for this tournament, we have Hulk, Nova, and Silk are blacklisted, so they cannot be in your deck. And we were allowed 2 champions to whitelist, meaning our opponent cannot ban them. KT1 had Chakra and Juggernaut. I chose my Iceman and Purgatory. As you know, I've become a very big Purgatory fan. So in the meantime, those 2 can't be banned. The bans I'm going for is Tigra. She has to neutralize, and I'm sure KT1's a very good Tigra player from what I can remember. Titania is just too OP this meta. She can handle so many fights, even fights I didn't think she was capable of. And going through GC, Kushala has actually taken a lot more matches than I thought capable. Plus, I learned she can block unblockable attacks. And I thought she was initially placing Fury buffs on the opponent, but after reading her abilities, I saw they were Ignition buffs. So, yeah, no Kushala. Now, see, he banned my Punisher, Sentinel, and Killmonger. And I got my baby Purgatory, so she's definitely coming with me. At this point, I'm actually hoping he does draft Serpent, thinking that, you know, my Purgatory match would be a repeat of the future. So he does draft Serpent, so I have Purgatory on standby. Gonna draft Iceman. He doesn't have too many Iceman counters, and not that many outside of, you know, Sasquatch to reduce the cold snap damage. Fun fact, Serpent can also get around Iceman, so... But what I'm hoping is he throws Serpent more so on defense. We grabbed Photon. At this point, I'm thinking if Sassy comes on defense, I'll use Photon. And I actually would love using Purgatory for Redskull, but at the moment, she's the only decent counter I have for Serpent. At this point, I'm debating if drafting Aegon is too early right now, which my gut feeling is telling me. And as soon as I draft Aegon, he drafts Valkyrie, and I'm just like, yeah, I should have waited. I probably would have been better off just getting like Kindred or Thing. Because even though you can punish Thing's specials easily, the protection still is going to kick in. And like I said, his Juggernaut is whitelisted, so I can't ban Juggy. And trust me, if Jugs can be used in a meta, I ban Jugs. Even if I'm running Jugs, I'm banning the Jugs. So I wish I could ban him, but here we grab Kindred just for more defense, and I grab Spiderham. And now I'm seeing it's Attuma, and I'm like, you know, I'm pretty sure at this point I had Negasonic, I had Dust, and I'm like, yeah, I wish I would have grabbed one of those for Attuma counter. Like I said, I drafted Aegon too early. So in the meantime, what we're going to do is just work with what we have. So we're throwing Enchantress down. I figure best case scenario, Jugs is off the table. Worst case scenario, just some other champ who I could potentially win the match with. And he switches from Serpent, who I was looking forward to using Purgatory, to Redskull. And like I said, here normally I would actually use Purgatory for Redskull, because every time she feels a bar power against a tech champion, she inflicts an armor break. And the way her mechanics work, she can actually cross back and forth and gain power pretty quickly. So Redskull armors are reduced pretty drastically once she gets rolling. I choose Spiderham. I've done this match. I know I can pull off like a 50k score. Only thing I'm really banking on here is to get some good spells with Enchantress, and hoping he has a lot of untouchables and he's just not able to touch her. Otherwise, I'm like, the goal here is just to keep pushing Redskull to SP2. Because of the node, as long as I punish the SP2, his unstoppable won't matter. So as you can see, we have 6 power stings right here. Unfortunately, he blocks the relic. But we managed to get 2 more power stings. And we punish the special, so we ignore the unstoppable. Fire an SP1 to lock in because we have 11 power stings right now. Now we're up to 12. And I'm like, come on, buddy. I want to get you to 2 bars so you can take more. Get up to 13, 14. We SP1 to lock those in. But unfortunately, I'm not sure what happened there. But I think I ran out of my grid passive. So, you know, we took unnecessary damage. Could have been a 50k score, but still we didn't pull off enough to actually win this. Would have needed to not take any block damage at all. And you can look at that 38-second Juggernaut fight. That's why I banned that guy. That guy is a monster. Okay, so like I said, I'm not too happy with the draft I have here, and at this point I'm just like, yeah, it's probably over. I'm thinking I could throw Kindred down, but I don't really have anyone for the next round, so I'm like, I'll throw Iceman down. If things slip up, I'm thinking he'll probably use Sasquatch, and he actually goes with Serpent. But yeah, Serpent can get around the Cold Snap immunity. I'm not sure if he's immunity or has like high resistance, one of the two. But at this point, I'm like, I know I'm going to take a bunch of damage back from Attuma. So we just go Purgatory, we just go Photon and figure if by some miracle we do win, we'll throw Kindred on defense for round 3. If not, then hey, it was all cool. So look, I hit the guy's block and I'm already taking damage. So at this point, I have no hopes of winning, but I'm still going to try my best, you know? So the only cool thing about fighting Attuma, if I had an actual counter, is like I said, you punish his specials this meta and you never have to worry about his unstoppable. So I can bait out as many SP1s as I need to, or SP2s or whatever. And that was actually an accidental parry, another accidental parry. I was trying to tap my relic button, but you know, at this point my nerves are just fling, fling, fling. So we'll just keep punishing the specials, and you know, me doing those parries gave him more concussions and we're taking more damage. But yeah, look at all that damage, and I never took a combo, or I took 2 parries, 2 blocked hits. But yeah, so like I said, I don't expect to win this one at all. But hey, you know, if the flip side we somehow do, I would throw Kindred on defense and I would Purgatory whoever he threw on defense. But of course that didn't come to pass. So at this point, we're 1-1. I do know I did throw Punisher 2099 on defense in that one match that was a part of my stream. And I forgot who he threw on defense, but I know he used Shang-Chi against my Punisher. And after that, even though he won that fight, he did ban Punisher. So I guess that unblockable specials were annoying enough to not want to deal again. So here we are, my ban. I'm making sure I'm in the Gladiator Circuit meta, or my invite. And we're going to round 3. Yeah. Now we're coming in here off a clean. We just got 2-0'd. But I'm not feeling down or like, you know, nervous at this point, because I'm like, hey, you know, I did pull off the win in round 1. So confidence is still there. Nerves are still racking. Did debate about some changing my bans or not, but I'm like, Titania is too powerful to leave alone. Like I said, I've dealt with a lot of Kushala so far in the GC, and if I can take her out, I will. And I know KT's a good Tiger player, so at least I feel like he's a good Tiger player, so we're not gonna allow her to be a part of this meta. Alright, so here, grabbing Domino and Man-Thing. You know, how I see it is, I don't remember looking through his deck at too many Domino counters, which is why I drafted her. Draft Man-Thing, I actually like using Man-Thing on attack, and push come to shove, I will throw Man-Thing at Serpent, but then I see Purgatory, so me grabbing Purgatory means I'm more likely to be able to put Man-Thing on defense, because you know, we taking out Titania. And we do grab Onslaught. I mean, he's Onslaught, you know, if he threw down that Bullseye or another Attuma, I'd be ready. And at this point, I'm seeing him get Havoc, and I'm just like, of course. Well, we're not throwing Onslaught on defense. I'm not too worried about Stark Spider-Man at the moment. I have, like I said, I got Man-Thing who doesn't take extra damage from crits, and I have Domino who can deal a lot of crit failure damage. He's like 200 R3. We're gonna grab Kindred again, and at this point I'm actually trying to think, if I did not grab another counter for Havoc, who would I get? Who is there anyone I could use? And I went with Deathless Thanos. We can slow play the fight, have Havoc throw a bunch of heavies, and it works. I've done the matchup before. It's not one I try to go for, but I'm like, I know it can work. They need drafts. There's the infamous Juggernaut, who I wish I could ban, and there's Enchantress. So at this point, I'm trying to debate. I'm like, I might get Medusa and throw her in defense, or it might be better to do Aegon. Cause I'm like, Jugs has the stagger on heavy, but then I'm like, oh wait, I needed a better Domino counter, so I get Redskull. Alright, so we're waiting to see what he throws on defense here. He goes with Enchantress, who I'm not that worried about. You guys will find out who I actually use for that in a moment. I'm debating between Domino and Man-Thing to start off with, so we're gonna go Man-Thing. I mean, no one's really poison immune on his side right now, you know? And whoever he does use, I'm expecting them to have a pretty long fight. So we're gonna use Deathless Thanos. I'm not sure about other people, but this is actually a match I've taken quite a few times using Deathless Thanos against Enchantress. So I'm actually pretty confident in this matchup. And, you know, the spells weren't too bad. 30% worked in our favor, so we were able to punish her heavy. We knocked her down to get rid of the purple spell. We fire our SP1, now we have 4 Furies. And, you know, with the counter punch, it makes it easier to get intercepts. So the plan right now here is just to get our more Furies by doing another SP1. But actually, I actually remembered about the Unstoppable, and I need to let her throw a SP1. So at this point, we're like, oh well, we won't get the Furies. We'll just go to SP2 and then back to another SP1. So we got 4 Furies instead of the max of 8, which is bad, you know. So we just go through, get our SP1, fire it again, and a 46k crit to end the match. Like I said, I felt like that went pretty well. So like I said, it's actually a match I've done quite a few times, and trust me, it works, you know. See, at the icon to land an intercept, because of the counter punch, I can back up, let her hit my block, immediately attack, and that would have gotten rid of the intercept icon. So I know, you know, if you see Enchantress, most people aren't thinking of the Cosmic class or Champion to work, but Thanos does work. He has the passive stun on the heavy, it's easier to get knockdowns. The only issue is if, like I said, her untouchable with a 30% chance to miss on her. But yeah, as long as you just aim for punishing the last hit of her heavy, things work out usually. Alright, so we took round 1 of that matchup. Said me personally, as long as I didn't slip up, I was expecting a win there. Man-Thing's tanky, minus 640 at the moment, and there were really no poison immunes on his side of the field. Okay, so we throw Domino on defense. Again, he doesn't really have a Domino counter, and at this point I'm like, okay, we will go Purgatory, and he goes Jugs. So this matchup for him will go either very well or not at all. It depends on Domino, really. Either he's going to take very little crit fail damage, or he'll take a lot. So at this point, I'm banking on RNG. And this time I remembered Serpent starts with the Unstoppable. So to go with Purgatory is just to get to 100 charges, spam SP2. Punishes SP1 so we can attack and ignore any future Unstoppable. Against Cosmic Champions, every time Purgatory fills a bar of power, she nullifies one active buff on them. As you can see, I just nullified his power gain. I'm running Mystic Dispersion, so I get power for nullifying the buff. Right now we have 5 neutralized, so our neutralize is 50% strong. Trying to bait out an SP1. We bait out the SP1, like I said, to punish his special so we can ignore future unstoppables and to get a debuff for willpower healing. And that helps, as you can see my health bar, us to regen any of the block damage. So neutralize is at 70%. We're trying to bait an SP1 just in case. Like I said, we're not 100%, so just in case we don't neutralize his immortality. But luckily we did, so there was no need to worry there. You know, like I said, I knew the fight can be done. It can even be done with a higher score, so I wasn't too concerned about how I would do during the fight. I was just more concerned about how my Domino's crit failure would go, and that time it worked in our favor. So, you know, we're excited, we're happy. At this point, we're up 2 wins to 1 loss. So what I am hoping for at this point is, yeah, you know, we can clinch it all here and we go home. Like I said, it's best of 5, so first to 3 wins. And, you know, shout out to Cat Murdoch for this profile picture that she has in game. I don't know, it's just like silly, goofy, and I'm here for it. Alright, we do bans don't change, we're gonna stick there. Change something for work. I'm not sure if you hear that in the background, but here we are. Okay, so I'm going Sentinel. You know, he's pretty tanky, and typically I really like Jack a lot more than Sentinel, but I'm like, in the event I need a dual threat, I'd rather use Sentinel. He can go on defense, he can go on offense. Right now I'm like, it's too early to get Aegon, so we're gonna grab Bullseye, and this one I don't want to grab Kindred nor Thing because he has Spiderham, so I'm gonna go Maestro. Push gonna shove, I can just throw him on offense if need be. And so far I'm like, yeah, I'm not liking my draft. Of course, he's like, every time I blink there's a Juggernaut on his side of the field. So we grab Gilly because I don't really have another Serpent counter, and we grab Domino. Oh boy, yes, I am exhausted. I'm gonna turn those off one day, guys, I promise. Alright, so we grab Gilly. And I see he gets Deathless, Thanos, and Sassy. Okay, so I'm looking, I'm like, there's no one for me to use Negasonic, no one for me to really aim for Dust. And Jack isn't really a defender, so we get our own Serpent and our own Deathless Thanos. And at this point, I'm like, just don't get Medusa. I don't really have a Medusa counter right now. I would prefer to save Purgatory for Serpent, since I really don't have a Serpent counter. But hey, I'm like, okay, we'll throw Domino down. I'm expecting Jugs to come out again. At this point, I'm like, hey, you know, maybe I can hope for some more RNG. Like I said, Jugs versus Domino. Either it goes really well or it doesn't go well at all. There's no in between. He throws out Sasquatch, who, guy's pretty tanky. I don't want to throw Bullseye at him, and I want to save Deathless Thanos at this point for Medusa. I mean, my only strategy would just be to attack heavy, repeat. So we use Sentinel for a Sasquatch. Plan here is just to build up to 100 charges, and SP2, and if the regen it gets too great, we SP1 to pause the to heal block the regen and then get back to SP2. And don't ask me what happened here. I really have no idea. But we got 100 charges, so we're just gonna bait out the special. Focus on getting to our own SP2. I think I'm running something to increase Incinerate with the relic. I don't know. But hey, we get to our SP2, we fire it. We want him to hurry up and drop his special so we can punish and pause our Incinerates. I think that is what I have. And unfortunately, we get punished trying to punish his SP1. So we fire the SP2, which he goes unstoppable and blocks it. He didn't get punished too badly. But at this point, I'm just like, yeah, you know, nothing about this match is really going how I wanted it to. But, you know, we're whittling him down. The regen is ticking, so I get hit by an SP1. So at this point, I'm not expecting to win the fight. But there's one thing about BGs, you keep going to the end. You don't give up. Unless it's just like a clearly obvious matchup, like, you know, I threw a champion who bleeds on every hit versus Omega Red or something, you know. So we SP1 to heal block, SP2 to more Incinerates, and we end the fight. That time, you know, 39-second Juggy fight and Domino's crit failure looks like it was very minimal. So we're looking to see what else we can do. Personally, I'm not expecting to even win this round. Going forward, I'm thinking we'll probably go to round 5. But hey, sometimes Lady Luck strikes, sometimes you know, lag, RNG, all kinds of things can happen. I debated putting Maestro on defense, but I'm like, I'll throw Bullseye down. Not confident because of the Stark Spidey. But hey, we have to go somewhere, you know. My plan here is just to use Deathless Thanos for Medusa, and the main thing is I need to hurry and get her to SP1 so that I can punish her heavy or special and get my grit passive. Actually wish I had my Deathless She-Hulk. I did one too many hits on my basic combo there, unfortunately. So we did eat a combo, but we finally got it here. My plan here is just like basically attack heavy, punish her special one, and just throw our SP1 to try to gain some fury. So it's definitely not an ideal fight, but based off what I had, from the looks of things, it was the only thing I could think of in the moment to go for. Because I wanted to save Gilly for his Serpent. And I could have kept that combo going after seeing he was only at 2 Fury. But like I said, the plan is just to heavy attack SP1. My grit ran out there. So at this point, I'm just like, well, we just keep playing, you know. We expect to lose, but you know, you keep going to the end. And the stand your ground mastery is like epic. As you can see, he resisted like 3 heavy attacks in a row. And luckily I did not get punished there. So at this point, we have no fury, so we're just gonna go to SP2 and just see what happens, you know. It's like Medusa's low sig, so it's not a guarantee she's going to auto block, but she still has a chance to auto block. And her punishes are legendary. So we're just taking it slow and steady, doing what we can. We time out this fight, and at this point, I'm like, okay, we're still in this. I was not expecting to win it. We get the cap emote, and at this point, you know, my nerves are racing. I don't even know what emote to respond back with, so I do nothing. I'm like, okay, if I can manage to pull this final one off, we should be good to go. I mean, we will be good to go. That will wrap things up. I throw my Serpent on defense. It's like he has a Serpent counter. If he does something like Spiderham, that guy would take a lot of block damage. So my plan was Gilly, Serpent, or Thanos if he threw them on defense, and Maestro Spiderham if he threw him on defense. Spiderham does build up degen resistance, which is why I wouldn't want to use Gilly there, and that would have been my Maestro fight. So goal here is just to spam SP1 with Gilly, and if I have launched an SP1, ideally try to push Serpent to SP2, because this meta, she has a global node. It gives her 150% neutralize, and with that, it basically prevents any buff Serpent has from activating. So the true focus on the specials, he will not be able to. I can dex him basically, but then it's also hitting me that I can't constantly push him the SP2, because I need to punish his SP1 if I'm going to keep spamming my SP1s, because he goes unstoppable every time I do, and punishing his gives me the grit to ignore the unstoppable. So I'm like, at this point I'm like, okay, I gotta take block damage. So, and now the block damage is starting to hurt. But we're like, hey, we keep on pushing through. So this time I was trying to push him to SP2 because I didn't want to take any more of that. Like, the guy has like 4 passive furies right now. So that's a lot of block damage. And with the block penetration stat focus. Okay, so we get him to SP2. We can dex the SP2 since the neutralize is stopping him from gaining the true focus. And the plan here is to we hit him with our SP1. Luckily, he didn't punish me, and that was it. He was unblockable, which caught me off guard. So, yeah, that was just, man, at this point, I'm like, I had this matchup. I really had this matchup. Like, I need to read Serpent ability some more to see what causes him to gain the passive fury, because yeah, he went unstoppable and unblockable because, like I said, I don't really know all of his abilities, but oh, I'm kicking myself at this point, as you can imagine, because I'm like, I had the match in the bag. I was blocking, and looking back at the recording, I see, oh, he was unstoppable and unblockable. So yeah, I would have needed to have pushed him to SP2. But I couldn't because he was unstoppable, and yeah, there was nothing I could do there. So at this point, I had to check to be like, wait, is it his invite or my invite? I'm like, okay, this is my invite for the final. And so here we are, round 5. We're going in 2-2, it's like, hey, round 1, I got matched against KT1. And it's go hard or go home at this point. I might use that as the thumbnail. But I just love the little dragon. And I got the Ronin number 1 champ, even though I don't even play Ronin. Shout out to Allison Edits. I am hoping Next 23 wins his vote for the rework champions, because before he was buffed, Punisher 2099 was my least favorite champion. And after the buff, one of my favorites is, hey, you can see KT1's banning the guy. And currently at the moment, X23 is my least favorite champion in the game. So a buff to her, I'm looking forward to. Alright, he grabs a Serpent, who I feel he has drafted every single match of this tournament. I grab my Iceman, and I'm going to grab Negasonic. I figure I'd rather be able to counter some of the annoying skills he has out there. I don't have too many counters for them. And how I see it, I could grab another Mystic counter for Serpent. I have a nice chunk of Mystics in my deck right now. There's my Purgatory, so she's my Serpent counter. We'll grab Kindred. I am debating on grabbing Valkyrie or Thing because he's tanky, but then I'm like, he has Crossbones and Spiderham, so no Thing. We do grab the Kindred. I'm like, I see Spiderham, and I'm like, yeah, he'll probably grab Spiderham. And he grabs Sparky, so I'm not too... I feel like I probably can't. I have to see what I can do if I can even get Kindred on defense. So here we are here. I'm thinking I'm definitely going to grab my Piggy and my Bullseye. He doesn't really have an ideal Bullseye counter. But of course, as soon as I do that, then yeah. There goes Onslaught, and there goes Negasonic. So me saying, oh, he doesn't have a Bullseye counter. Okay, cool. He gets 2 of them. So at this point, I'm going through and I'm like, okay, he doesn't really have an Aegon counter. So I could go Aegon, or I'm like, do I need Luke for anything? And I'm like, no, I got enough attackers. We're gonna throw Aegon on defense at some point, potentially. He doesn't have ideal Aegon counters, would probably be the better words for this meta. You guys believe that Aegon has been reduced to a defender and actually is useful in Battlegrounds? Never thought you'd see the day. So he switches from Onslaught to Serpent for defense, who I'm not too worried about. We're gonna throw Iceman because Serpent was his only Cold Snap immune counter. At one point I actually thought Onslaught was counters Cold Snap, and then I found out I actually read his abilities and realized no, it's just the shocks, the bleeds, and incinerates. I think there might be one more. But in the meantime, we're doing our Purgatory versus Serpent matchup. Plan here is just to bait out these SP1s, punish them, and spam our SP2s. We only do our SP2s when we're at 100 charges. If we ended on a medium, we could have power drained ourselves. So we do that if we hit 3 bars of power, but we're trying to get our SP2, you know? Okay, so things are going good. He's melting. Our degens is really ramping up. We're 5 neutralize in, so 50% chance to stop his any buffs he has from activating. And at this point, I see he did gain that 1 passive fury, but like I said, I really need to read his abilities to see what causes him to gain those, so I don't get caught off guard next time. Alright, so a lot of things going on. We fire our SP2, and we had enough, our neutralize worked in our favor to stop his immortality. And bleeding, I'm not sure what happened. Maybe lag, maybe he got caught by an SP1. Whatever happened, you know, hey, Iceman, you did your job. I'm not sure what the cold snap damage is against Onslaught. I think he has somewhat energy resistance, but I do know he's not cold snap immune and cold snap resistant. So, you know, I'm feeling cool at this point. I'm going to go ahead and throw Aegon down. My plan here after Aegon goes down would be to throw Negasonic on defense, but with him throwing Spiderham down, I'm like, okay, cool, I can throw Kindred on defense next round, and I will use Bullseye for Spiderham. Bullseye has the true accuracy on his SP1, so as long as you keep that up, Spiderham will not be evading you. And you know, if I get the power stings on me, I can parry heavy. I'm not max sig, but I do have % chance to purify those debuffs, so I think I'd call it like a pretty straightforward Bullseye fight. We just go straight into the SP1. I want to get my true accuracy up, but fortunately I did an early release, so my damage won't increase. So we time releasing the heavy into a special, or tapping the screen. But at this point, we're like, okay, we got the true, our true is going, so we allow him to trigger our evade so we can throw a special and gain our passive fury. This is, as you can see, our damage is greatly skyrocketed with 10k mediums, yes, even with the taunt, which is reducing our attack by like 40%. So we get another one, and we've been punishing his special so we don't have to worry about the unstoppable he gains. And lo and behold, that will take care of it. And at this point, I'm like, all right, we made it through KT1 round 1. I'm happy, I'm excited, we're fully healthy. To be honest, I really don't know much about Shathra's abilities. I know she has the atrophy or atrophy, which reduces buff duration. So I'm not sure how she deals with the unstoppable or anything. I'm just figuring, like I said, as far as her abilities go, so I just figured he probably pushed Dagon to SP1 by hitting his block and then just punished it and worked from there. But maybe she counters the abilities, I don't know. I'm just excited. You give the GG remote emote. So thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see how round 2 goes and see who I get matched up there. I appreciate you all. It's that journey. We're in the Matrix tournament. Stay tuned. See ya.